When President Trump came in, he made a decision that he was going to reinvigorate the investigation. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino made a decision that we were going to look at this, reanalyze evidence. And what I said there was clear. 3 million pieces of data, and we had to find the commonality. We had to find what was common when you had a pipe bomb made of a pipe, end caps, wires that were red and black, as well as a 9-volt battery and some. There was also
these
some
are common
kind of
items. So
these are very common.
You find them around
items.
the house, but
for example, there were end caps that we had to analyze. 233,000 of those end caps were sold. We had to, the FBI, to their credit, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino did an incredible job. All of the agents did. They looked at every one of these end caps, found out who bought them, and tried to figure out who was the common person with the end caps, with the pipes.
Cell phone pings.
Cell phone pings that connected with the defendant walking along that area with the video that we had. When we had the pings, when we realized that his cell phone is pinging exactly where he's walking, we knew we had someone.
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up? You know that feeling that the whole country is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it. Let's see,
Hey,
we're
twist
on,
around. Now look, here's a
92
house full
FM
of bees.
tonight. It feels like
You think the
nice
honey
cool
badger
little
cares? It
bands
doesn't
on
give
the
a
bar.
shit.
Listen, let's get one thing straight.
Price is right.
Guns don't kill people. I
Run out of Tom Wood Show episodes. You know, that's not impossible. So check out Liberty Tree Podcast.
Gold jacket.
I think some apologies are in order.
Most like classic-ish rock I could do without ever hearing again.
Yeah.
But I never mind that song. It never wears on me.
Creedence was very good.
They were.
Yeah.
Aren't they from Marin County?
Oh, really?
I think so.
You can't hear a Creedence song without thinking of the Vietnam War.
Yes.
Today,
That's what I was thinking. I was listening to this. I'm like, I don't think this one's about Vietnam.
I went to get a sandwich today at the bakery by my house, and I have never bought a sandwich from them before, but they have another store over on the other side of town. This is really interesting stuff, so make sure you're paying attention. And I have gotten a sandwich there, but never.
If I look like I'm not paying attention, it's because I'm taking notes.
Okay, good. I walk up there, and it's the whole front of the building is tables seated with the the perfect representation of someone that lives in Sonoma County. Mm-hmm. So if you had to just pick the most common type of person that lives in Sonoma County, you would have a white-haired boomer with a fleece jacket on, and probably driving a Subaru.
Good chance the personalized license plate says one wine lover, or a bumper sticker says just hand me the Merlot and nobody gets hurt.
Yes, exactly. So I was looking at them and I was thinking, God, I don't hate anybody. It's not my thing. But yes, go ahead. You have something to say?
Just think of a couple subs we've had in the past.
Well, then I'm like, okay, what would I rather see out in front of this house or this business? I'd rather see a bunch of dairy farmers in cowboy boots.
Yeah.
That's the people at lunch. Not this sad sack of people that are the only reason they're there is because there's not a No Kings protest happening right now. And I was thinking about the song made me think like, what is it about like boomers that's just so annoying? And it's like, these are the people in American history who have had it made better than any other generation before them or since them.
Yes.
And they have the nerve to believe that they somehow earned it and that their thoughts are correct on issues like war and peace and kings, for example. You know, Donald Trump. Here's this group whose parents fought and died in World War II, and then these guys didn't really do anything until they looked like they were going to be drafted into Vietnam, and then they got up and they stopped the Vietnam War, right? That's how they would tell it, right? But not for any good moral reason. They did it because they didn't want to go fight.
Right.
And now it's like, so their parents were obviously disappointed in them. And so now, because they never did anything, they never went and fought. They never gave their lives for their country or gave their lives for anything, right? They were a selfish generation.
Yeah.
Hence all the latchkey kids like, myself and friends. And the time has come now where Donald Trump, their Hitler, is finally in power, and they get to resist Hitler. They're out there fighting. Their parents would be so proud of them now, finally stepping up and fighting Hitler.
My dad stormed the beach in Normandy, and now here I am with a No Kings protest at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Right. Meanwhile, my kids are still living in the basement because I forced them to go to some overpriced school that they couldn't afford and took out a loan that they're drowning in. And
we're going to talk about that in the next podcast. That was like the bigger thing that I was putting together today. And you hit me up. You're like, want a podcast? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But I don't want to do my thing. But yeah, I've been thinking.
If you got a thing, do your thing.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm saving it.
Hold on, I have an important question before you.
That's an astute observation, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I figured that song, we needed credence to tell that story correctly. If you were going to be murdered with a power saw and you got to choose which power saw, you didn't get to choose how you would die necessarily. Like the murderer gets to choose.
Just gets a certain tool.
How to kill you, but they get a tool. You get to pick the tool, and it's a power saw. What would you pick?
I gotta go with a fine tool.
Well, I was gonna say, so the choice.
Wait,
of the
do I get to
saw,
fight back, or is like he's gonna kill it?
Well, you could fight back, yes, but you're gonna die.
I'll probably go with the chainsaw then.
You're gonna die.
Chainsaw,
yeah.
Make it quick.
See, I would go chainsaw.
Yeah,
because the fine tool would be the hardest one to kill you with. But if you know you're gonna die, that would be the worst.
Yeah, then yes.
Because it would just take a long time. Like a fucking...
Or a router.
Oh, router. Ah! God. Because it can't get deep enough ever. The deepest it can go is like 1 inch.
You're bleeding at a half inch depth.
Cut my wrist, please. Please.
Great question.
Thanks. If you could fight back and defend yourself... and you didn't necessarily have to die.
Then I'd go with the router.
I'd go table saw.
Table saw, yeah. Because,
How are you gonna...
I don't consider myself badass, but I do have some decent grappling under my belt.
Yeah.
So to speak. So I'm pretty sure I can get someone else on the table saw if it's between me and him.
Or just get away from it.
Luckily her.
Just walk away.
Just unplug it. Like, all right, we're going to keep it standing. Let's talk about the humble placenta real quick.
Dude, I was just talking about placentas last night.
It's interesting because what started this is I had this like ex-girlfriend who was a hardcore vegan, like used to spin off on me when I would eat cheese, like that kind of hardcore vegan.
She sounds lovely.
Yeah. So it didn't work out.
Too bad.
I was like, so I'm into the whole hunting thing. How's this going to work? So I remember I was like, she was telling me that she ate her friend's placenta. I was like, oh, interesting.
Hold on.
Yes.
Her friend's placenta, meaning the placenta that came with her friend when her friend was born?
No.
Or her friend had a baby.
Had a baby.
Okay, so it was that placenta.
Thank you
Gotcha.
for clarifying. Okay. And and I could not make jokes about being vegan. So I'm like, oh, crazy. Like, what'd that taste like? She goes, oh, like this.
Chicken.
Yeah, that's what the kind of standard answer. And I'm like, is that vegan? Like eating your friend's placenta? She goes, well, I don't even remember the answer she gave me, but I was just like, okay, I'm really digging up the direction this is going.
Yes.
And I'm like, why would you do that? She goes, do you know how many like nutrients are in the placenta? It's like what fed the baby. And I'm like, yeah, I believe you. But at the same time, like, are we really lacking nutrients here in the U.S.? I mean, getting a well-balanced diet is not too tough to do. And
eating a placenta is very, very tough to do.
Right.
You couldn't pay me enough money.
So that's right about the time we break up. Probably right after that conversation. And then I started thinking, what do you, like, I don't remember my son being born, my wife bringing home the placenta.
Yeah.
So I'm up in the middle of the night. I'm like, what do they do with the placenta? And then here's what I look up. In the United States, because I go...
Well, here, hold on. Let me throw this in there. So I was talking to our buddy Garrett last night, and we may or may not edit that name out depending on how weird this gets. We were talking about eating the placenta. And so he was going to...
When was this?
Last night.
This is when I was thinking about this.
Dude, we have a fucking psychic link. It's amazing. So he's telling me that he wanted to save the placenta from his first kid being born, but it was an emergency C-section, and they just they wouldn't let him have the placenta, or they couldn't find it, or it got lost in the shuffle. And he's like, "Damn, I missed out on the placenta." So second kid,
No, they did not.
second kid. He goes to get the placenta, and they're like, sorry, your wife has a fever. We can't allow you to have the placenta.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I swear to God, listeners, we did not set this up. So I Google, do hospitals sell placentas? Kind of like,
Yeah.
what do they do with all these placentas? From the article, in the United States, it is illegal for individuals to sell their placentas. Hospitals do not typically sell placentas for profit in a consumer market. The National Organ Transplant
consumer
Act
market
of 1984 prohibits the sale of human organs and body parts, which generally includes a placenta. I'm all, generally. What could that possibly mean? So I do a little scrolling.
Yep.
I
Good.
go down. No financial compensation for donation, kind of. After birth, standard hospital procedures to treat the placenta as a biohazardous medical waste and dispose of it accordingly, usually via incineration. However, hospitals do facilitate the donation of placentas for medical purposes. And so I do more digging, is they get financial kickbacks for donating these placentas for like biotech companies, and pharmaceutical companies,
right?
And they use the tissues for like the basis of a vaccine.
Dude, I'm flying to Texas next week. Well, actually, I had to postpone it in 2 weeks.
Yes,
to get some stem cells that have been taken out of a umbilical cord, supposedly, but could very well be placenta material also. Yeah. So, don't you dare shine light on this before I get my stem cell therapy. Right? I don't want this the whole thing come crashing down thanks to the Liberty Tree podcast.
And so I looked up the average cost of birth is like $18,865, I believe.
The cost of birth?
Yeah, for like the cost to get the bill you get for having a child in the hospital. Is the average cost. Now that's covered by your insurance company, and so all kinds of kind of gray area there.
What do you get for that money? Like the assurance that your kid probably won't die?
Like,
because I mean, you could just do it at home, but that's risky.
Mm-hmm.
So for $18,000,
well, it's risky because you would keep your placenta,
which is a biohazard.
And if your wife has a fever,
oh boy, yeah, that's
that spreads to the chickens. Now we got an avian bird flu. It's a complete mess. This is what happens when you remove the government from your life.
Yes, exactly.
But it seems like with the cost of birth being so high, which your insurance covers, but we all pay. Insurance is subsidized, as everyone's health care. It seems like that you would get some kind of rebate
for the placenta.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little something
they're
for
financial kickbacks from taking part of one of your body parts.
Yeah.
But the whole thing that kicked this off, they're like, no, you can't sell organs. This generally includes a placenta. And I'm like, generally, that's an odd word. You stick right there at the end.
Right. This generally includes kidneys. So you're saying that there's a loophole? What is this? There's a little sliver where you can actually sell your kidney.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Just yet another example. Read the whole article. I can pay attention to every single word.
So California is in a budget deficit right now. There are not enough placentas in California to bail them out of this deep, deep financial hole that they've found themselves in. Remember when there was when Newsom was talking about the surplus? That was all just like fake?
Yes.
There was no surplus.
It's almost admirable.
The guy's going to be president, and none of this shit matters, right? Like all of this shit, all the corruption, all of the fucking horrible things that he's done to ruin California, to enhance homelessness in California, to enhance crime, to enhance unaffordability of homes. I mean, the list goes on, and I'll leave 10 things. I'll try to do an extensive list, and I'll still leave 10 things off of the list of the shit that he's done to fuck up our state. But thanks to the budget deficit, the legislature of California had to not pursue certain laws that they had slated to be to sign into law by the governor, because they just didn't have enough money to make changes to the codes, implement more enforcement mechanisms, and just it actually does cost money.
Is this after the $190 million to do the Prop 50 campaign, to do the ballot for that special election?
Well, those campaigns don't pay for themselves. So what they actually had to, they're not like the federal government where they can just print money. I believe they probably think that the federal government would bail them out if they ever went bankrupt. A state can't go
which is money that they just printed.
Yes. So by 2 steps of separation, they can print money. Right. But they did make the decision.
I hired somebody to kill my wife. Big difference.
Yes, exactly. No, it's not a lesser crime. You still get the same amount of years in prison for that, right? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. Gertrude, if you're listening, I swear to God that was a joke. And Mr. FBI agent, same goes to you.
And thank you for listening.
Yes. So one of the bills that hit the cutting room floor, if you will, it was AB 1333. That was the bill that made California a duty to retreat state, where you could not shoot someone, you could not use deadly force against somebody else in any situation unless you had already retreated to try to get away. And that includes inside your own house. Yeah. So castle doctrine out the window. Right. So if someone breaks into your house and is trying to attack you and your wife and your kid, you have a duty to retreat. You had to leave the house before you shot this person. Now, if you couldn't and you got trapped in the closet, then you could shoot them.
Unless R. Kelly had a gun.
Also, yes. I think he'd be on your side, though.
Yeah. After he peed on you.
All right. Fine. Quickly. Do it quick. Hurry. The guy's coming. So a little bit of good news for you. Thanks to our poorly run state, we are no longer slated to be a duty to retreat state. Now, I'm sure that'll come back around in a couple of sessions, but there you go. I didn't mean to go on to this topic, actually, but while we're on it, federal audit uncovered $319.5 million in fraud in the state of California. So this is happening right now. California risked millions in homelessness funds due to poor anti-fraud protections. So the DOJ right now of the federal government is investigating California and actually prosecuting people for corrupt dealings.
Actual prosecutions.
Yes. I mean, no one big time like the governor, but his chief of staff, we talked about that before she was under fire. So this is from CBS in April. California spent $24 billion to tackle homelessness over the past 5 years, but didn't consistently track whether the huge outlay of public money actually improved the situation, according to state audit released Tuesday.
Yeah, what they did with that money that went towards the war on homelessness, which I want to talk about a little bit later, is, do you remember their reaction? They asked, like, where did all that, it got worse, right?
Yes.
You guys spent $24 billion. They actually said, they came out and said, we don't know where the money went.
Right.
They built an industrial complex, basically, for the war on homelessness, and appointed all these people, the homelessness czar and the, assistant to the, blah, 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 blah. And all this money was spent. And, I mean, but your walk out the front door test, you go like, it's just, everything got worse.
Yes. So the audit analyzed California's Department of Housing and Community Development, which oversees the state's homelessness programs. It gave the California agency its lowest possible ranking, finding that it lacked adequate policies to prevent, detect, and respond to fraud. So they didn't even have policies in place where they could detect any fraud. Like, what do you think happens if money is available and there's no way to actually detect whether you're committing fraud? Do you think that makes people more or less likely to commit fraud? Mm-hmm. As a result, the audit found the state agency failed to properly protect $319.5 million in federal homelessness funds, which were distributed during the COVID-19 pandemic, from the possibility of misuse. So here's an example of how that worked. Okay. The guy in this picture's name is Stephen Taylor, I believe. He owned a piece of property that he bought for $11.2 million. Mm-hmm. Immediately after he bought it, it says here in this article I'm reading from LA Est, he wasn't planning to hold the complex for long. So he bought this. I'm going to go back. The man at the center of the deal, since identified by federal prosecutors as Brentwood landlord and developer Stephen Taylor, bought the property on Shelby Drive in 2023 for $11.2 million, purchase records show. He wasn't planning to hold the complex for long. At the time of his purchase, a company owned by him, by Taylor, already was in escrow to sell the complex to Weingart Center. So his company is in contract with Weingart Center to sell this piece of property.
Okay.
Then he buys it. Or the day that he buys it, it goes into contract. According to the way this is written, it sounds like it was already in contract to be sold.
Yeah.
He buys it for $11.2 million. He wasn't, to sell the complex to Weingart Center, a major homelessness housing provider, for more than double what he paid, according to a purchase agreement obtained through public records request. The $27.3 million to pay for that acquisition came from taxpayer grant funds authorized by city and state officials, according to grant documentation. LA Mayor Karen Bass and Governor Newsom touted the purchase as a key tool in the fight against homelessness.
The key tool being doubling the price of the real estate and having the taxpayers pay for it.
It's a key tool. They really need this particular building. This building is a key tool. This one that this guy bought and then sold to himself, essentially for double the amount.
Right.
And made over double the amount on this purchase. But there's nothing in place to detect the fraud. So here's Wiggles talking about this. He gets asked this question. This is so great. He gets asked by an actual journalist, a real reporter, about the money that's missing.
Before you play this video, I just want to state this. If he's not doing his own retarded version of ASL while he's talking, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Oh, dude.
I'm hoping for the best.
You're not going to be disappointed. Okay. This is one of the best. We got to get this fucking video up and running so people can see this shit.
Determine whether the money that's being plowed into homelessness is being well spent.
One of the vexing issues that was highlighted in the audit was local, and each city and county has different strategies and approaches. We've tried to level set that.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry, Governor, I didn't hear responses to either of those questions. Do you acknowledge whether the money that the state isn't doing enough to ensure that the money is being well spent?
The audit did not surprise me. The state has advanced unprecedented investments, you're correct, and unprecedented interventions demanding more accountability with state money at the local level.
These guys have such a gift for putting 80 words together. And
Yes.
it's like he said nothing.
That mean nothing. I know.
Nothing at all.
It is a gift. It's like it's an essential tool for being a politician.
Yes.
Yes. If you are incapable of speaking for hours at end without saying a single word, making a single point, then you are not cut out for politics. I'm sorry.
I've always, we always say working in the trades, you hone your bullshit detector. Like it's very finely honed. And one of the kind of rules of having that detector is like the more that people talk, usually the more full of shit they are. Because someone's just got the truth or a very simple explanation for something. It's a very succinct 1 or 2 word answer. Like, hey, like, where were you yesterday? You're supposed to be here. It's like, I was crazy. I was sick. Mm-hmm. Okay. But it's when you get the, oh, yeah, dude, Sunday, like, I was sick. And then, my girlfriend, the battery in her car died. So it was so crazy. Like, I had to, like, take care of that. And then my dog got out. So I'm, like, looking around. I'm like, just keep talking, shithead.
Totally.
Like, you're full of shit.
And I think most people are wired that way. So when they hear this, as long as they're not deranged in the head with Trump derangement syndrome, they hear this. In fact, without Trump, is there any way that Gavin Newsom would even be considered a viable candidate for president?
Well, he's not. And this is something I want to talk about this next time, but there's something that you should pay attention to when we look at information, when you look at people like Gavin Newsom speaking or the bullshit coming out of the Trump administration right now is, do you remember when Trump won in 2016 when he was like running, right?
Yes.
And then he wins, defying all expectations, including the night of the election.
Yes.
We're like, no way. Like, there's no way. And he wins. And do you remember the interview? Because they were looking at the campaign headquarters of like Hillary Clinton. And there's hundreds of people in this huge office building.
Just
and
crying.
Corey was, coming up to the election.
Okay, yeah.
And they're going up to Trump, and he's like, yeah, here's our office. And there's one guy there. There's my man Corey handling everything. He had one guy there. And they had attributed his success because he tapped into, social media and everything.
And Russia.
Yes, right. Got that Obama P tape and everything fell right into place. But... And it is true to some extent. Like he had kind of cued in, or one of his advisors or whatever, cued in, like, hey, listen, this is happening on like Facebook and it's happening on Instagram and on Twitter and everything. And, Hillary Clinton heels dug into the old world establishment cathedral model. I was like, yeah, you guys can go with your friend book or whatever. Like, I'm going to go ahead and put on that Carhartt jacket and sit on a bale of hay in Iowa and talk to the farmers about how I'm one of them. And it's like, everyone's like, no, we're kind of not really buying this anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of shifted because the same thing is happening where I think the Trump administration, I heard someone break this down. I thought this was pretty interesting. It's that they're realizing like all we have to do is just put it out there online. It's like, we know that we're not telling the truth and we know they're not right. But if we get ahead of this thing, get out there first with our online messaging, on social media and Twitter and Truth and all this other stuff, it's like we'll win the PR game every time. But it has shifted so dramatically just between 2016 and 2025.
Yeah.
It's like now you have this new generation, this batch of kids that are so embedded in like TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff, for better and for worse. They're going like, no, because when you come out and just say blah, 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 blah about the Epstein files, it's like there's so much content online showing that what you're saying, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like almost now that's become the old guard model for getting information, which I thought was really interesting.
It happened very quickly.
Yes.
And Trump hasn't caught on to that. Trump caught fire using Twitter, and he thinks like, oh, well, if I use Twitter, it'll work.
I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
Because it's not about what's true. It's about the perception of what people are supposed to think is true.
But
now people can figure out there's so much countering information.
Correct.
True or false, but still the information is out there.
The currency now is just truth.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how you get it, but everyone can figure it out for themselves. Everyone's a bullshit detector. The truth is the only currency that you have now going forward, I think.
Which is interesting. I had another thought think about this, is the old model going back to the kind of the last breath, that Hillary Clinton was trying to keep alive of this old model for like information, because all the mainstream media and the institutions, that being whether it be corporations or the government, what we call the cathedral, is we have enough information. There's enough information out there that, given the track record, we can look at. You guys are just lying over and over and over and over. And then we get into the headbox model, and we go like, okay, so everything about there were no FBI agents at J6, like that turned out to not be true. And they're like, no, but why are you still talking about this? You know what I mean? And it's funny because they're making the rounds, like Barry Weiss, I believe she was originally from New York Times, went out on her own, supposedly made a bunch of money, and then sold. Now she had her own platform, sold it for like $110 million or something like that. And now she's in charge of ABC, I think. And now she's making the round saying like, hey, basically pulling a Sam Harris. Like, we got to get back to trusting the institutions and everything. And if you break it down into these two models, right? Because there's this, they say misinformation, disinformation. And then the next sentence is always something about online conspiracy theories of like how dangerous they are, and we got to like stop believing this. I'm like, okay, if we distill it down to two groups, right? And group A is the old model, and here it is current day, but you guys are still trying to do some kind of hybrid, bastardization of the old model, which is okay. If all this institutionally based organizations, right, your mainstream media, being sponsored by big pharma and the military industrial complex, and working with government, and sponsored by petroleum companies and all this. And we have enough information out there at this point, because it has shifted so drastically and so quickly in the last 7 to 8 years. We're like, everything, the vast majority of what you guys tell us are lies. And, we've talked about before, it's like there's still these people that are like, well, they're probably telling the truth now. And people like us are like slamming our heads on the wall, like, why are you still listening to these people?
Yeah.
But that's group A, right? The institutional connected model. You know what I mean? All
a lot of them are sitting out front of my local bakery at this point.
So we have these people, and we know they are lying. We have the track record. We can, the internet exists, as they say. We can go back and look at what you were saying about COVID and about J6 and about the Nord Stream pipeline and about the war in Iraq and the war in Yemen and the war in Syria. And then we have Group B, independent, not sponsored or paid for by anyone, which they are trying to infiltrate Group B, right? Passing people off of like, dude, he's just a cool guy, you know what I mean? On TikTok, give him information. We find out he's getting checks for $7,000 for every post he does supporting Israel. Mm-hmm. But if still like concentrating these two groups, you have Group A and you have Group B, independent guy, no real sponsorship that we know of, just has long form conversations, and is basically, I'm not saying that the guys in Group B are correct, but they're basically just taking everything and then making, let's just say, I'll be charitable, a wild guess as to what they think is most likely plausibly true about subject X. Right? Yep. So break that down.
That's us. I would say we're in that category.
Yes.
I mean, we do that all the time. We're wrong.
Yes.
From time to time, but we're willing to admit that. We're not being paid to be wrong about it.
Yes. So if you break these two models down, you have Group A, we know that they're lying. Mm-hmm. You have Group B, they're just guessing. Which one are you going to listen to?
Right.
Group B.
Totally. Even though they're just guessing.
Yes.
In a lot of cases, they're just guessing. But for a fact. They could
be lying, but I don't completely know that they're lying. I know that these people are completely lying. Like,
right.
I could be wrong. They could be wrong, but I got to go with Group B. At least I got a fighting chance to find out some semblance of what might be true.
Did you have more to say on homelessness?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. So speaking of January 6th, January 6th happened 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, in January, obviously. Right after January 6th happened, we started hearing about this technology that we didn't really know existed. I mean, we assumed it existed, but it became like a mainstream, almost a meme that people knew now. After January 6th, people knew that you should not take your cell phone anywhere that it might be used against you.
I remember reading the articles about January 6th when it came out. The one that caught my attention was he said like, yeah, using biometric data and facial recognition data, we were able. I'm like, what now?
And the term geofencing
Geofencing
became like into the vernacular. People know what that means now.
And the way they wrote it was like, you guys all know that we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
I did not.
No.
I kind of assumed it, but.
And so, before the glass was repaired, before the fences went up around the Capitol building, people were being arrested for being there, and they were caught through this technology that we didn't really know was in use, at least not to the extent that we know it is now. And there was this one thing that they just couldn't figure out. And the FBI put out a reward for any information helping to find the pipe bomber on January 6th. Now, they had the video of that person. Mm-hmm. They knew that this had been done. They found the bomb or bombs. And yet 5 years goes by and they can't figure out who this person is.
Uh-huh. They caught everyone else in the crowd.
Yeah.
Even remotely affiliated with this protest.
Right.
Even the people out there just holding signs. Right. They didn't even go into the Capitol.
No, they just walked past an imaginary line that was out of bounds.
The open gate off limits, okay? As a favor to me. Everybody got that?
But the guy who went and put bombs into the Capitol.
Right.
No idea.
Can't figure it out. So 4.5 years goes by, and a reporter from The Blaze finally comes out with this report that they've found who the pipe bomber is based on gait recognition technology, GAIT.
Which we also didn't know existed.
We didn't. Yeah. But apparently it does, and it has been used in court cases. I looked it up today, like going back to the year 2000. Not so much. I didn't find a lot of cases in the United States, but in the UK, they've used it, the most heavily surveilled place on Earth, population on Earth.
When we talked about this the first time, my wife, who begrudgingly listens to this podcast, because she goes, you are the podcast. Like, I got to hear this bullshit.
Right.
Just living with you. But she listened when we were talking about the gait analysis recognition software. She goes, you just missed such an easy Monty Python silly walk joke there.
No, I said it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what she said. She said, you dropped it. And she goes, you totally missed his joke.
You stepped all over my joke, dude. It was so good. Yeah.
I'm going to be better at that.
That actually got me home later that week showing Junior that skit from Monty Python, the Ministry of Silly Walks.
I show that to my son. He enjoyed it so much that we have the Monty Python Silly Walk clock in the living room.
Oh, yes. I saw that. That is a good idea. So this person that the Blaze identified was a woman who was a former Capitol police officer turned CIA employee. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which, to people like us who are in category B that are just guessing about things, ring very true.
Right.
No one was shocked. Oh, so along with the 250 FBI agents that were in the crowd,
75.
There's also employees of the FBI. There's also an employee of the CIA who's connected to placing these bombs. That tracks.
Right.
That makes perfect sense. Well, when did that report come out? Like November?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Like mid-November.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, after 5 years and a $500,000 reward for the pipe bomb, any information to the FBI.
And all the analysis data and all the Palantir technology surrounding it. You guys finally cracked the case.
Yep.
Right after this article comes out.
And you know how they got him?
And
so they have this new guy. What's his name that they're arresting?
Joseph Cole.
Cole, yeah.
Cole.
Cell phone data, license plate recognition.
And his model of sneakers. Right.
And
technology we didn't have 5 years ago.
Right.
I'm guessing.
So this Blaze report comes out, and now all of a sudden, nope, turns out it was this deranged anarchist.
Yeah.
And so if you go through all the podcasts that are talking about this right now, your typical like right-wing talking heads, Jack Posobiec, he had the raw egg nationalist on this morning.
Yeah.
I listened to it. And the talking point is, see, it's another one of these deranged leftists. It's the deranged leftists. That's who is out to get everyone. It's not they don't even mention the Blaze report, except to say that maybe they're going to get sued for having a false report. But no one actually looks at the evidence. They just jump right to what the FBI said. We all trust the FBI. Deranged leftists. You go to the next podcast, same thing. Deranged leftists. You have Megyn Kelly here. I actually got the clip from it. Megyn Kelly has on 2 attorneys who, once again, they don't actually talk about the merits of this case. All they can do is talk about the legality of the Blaze calling out this woman.
Mm-hmm. The January 6th pipe bomber. So this has gotten a fair amount of coverage, but not as much because it happened right before J6. It actually happened on J5. I think this is when the bombs were planted. And there was a very explosive, pardon the pun, report in The Blaze recently on this case, which does not seem to have held up. And so the question to you guys is whether The Blaze is about to be hit with a massive defamation lawsuit. Here are the facts as we know them. The pipe bombs, okay, the FBI said an unknown subject placed pipe bombs under a park bench at the DNC and the Capitol Hill Club near the RNC building between 7:54 and 8:16 p.m. the night before January 6th, so January 5th. Discovery of the devices between 12:40 and 1:05 p.m. respectively the next day on J6th drew already depleted police resources away from the Capitol. The FBI released the first photo of the pipe bomber on January 7th. So they do have a picture of this person on surveillance cam, offering a $5,000 reward. It later upped the reward to $500,000.
So real quick, I paused it here because they show a picture of the bomber and the model shoes that the bomber was wearing. And then there's a picture of the pipe bomb. And the pipe bomb, so where we grew up, kids would make pipe bombs and just fucking blow them up.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of pipe bombs in my life. And they weren't terrorists. They were just kids having fun with very, very dangerous
That's
things.
what we did. We didn't have TikTok or anything. We had to blow shit up.
But on this pipe bomb, they have a timer. And it looks like just a wind up
Kitchen timer.
Kitchen timer.
Yeah.
Right. And I saw that and I thought, how is this supposed to work? Because it looks like the time maybe goes up to, 2 hours.
Yes. It's what my parents had back in the day when they would put a roast in the oven.
Exactly.
I should call them and ask, but I don't think they ever cooked a roast for 72 hours or 48 hours.
Yeah. So, you can see the numbers on this timer. It doesn't go that high. So what was the plan here? The pipe bomber is going to put this bomb under the park bench on January 5th and then come back the next day and set the timer. Was that the plan? That doesn't seem like a very good plan for someone who was able to evade detection by the FBI for 5 years. I don't know. It just kind of caught my eye. It just doesn't seem, there's something off, like on the people that notice things this should raise some flags.
The picture of the pipe bomb just looks a little too on the nose, like cartoonishly simple. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like if I asked my 12-year-old, draw me a picture of a pipe bomb, I think he'd draw.
Make a pipe bomb. He would make. This is what my friends used to make.
Yeah.
Without the kitchen timer.
I used to tell my son that. Get off the TV. Make a pipe bomb.
Make a goddamn pipe bomb like a normal kid.
You and I are going to have some fun this weekend. Your mom's working. We're going to have some fun. Show you how Dad used to do it.
Make sure you wear your safety glasses when you do that, kids.
The description of the person is 5'7" with a face mask, gray hooded sweatshirt, dark pants, gloves, distinctive black and light gray Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes. The pipe bomber sits on the DNC bench first, then walks away for several minutes, then walks back and plants the bomb, does another several loops near the RNC, and is believed to have then planted the bombs there. Here we're showing for the listening audience screen grabs of the same person with what we now know are bombs in a bag. Very clear visuals from a Ring camera in the alley near the RNC can be seen. Now, the blaze just like 2 weeks ago, right around there, with this big report, it was November 8th, by Steve Baker and Joseph Hanneman. A forensic analysis of a female former U.S. Capitol Police officer's gait, G-A-I-T, meaning the way one walks, is a 94 to 98% match to the unique stride of the long-sought J6 pipe bomb suspect, according to a Blaze News investigation confirmed, they say, by several intelligence sources. A source close to a congressional investigation of J6 additionally told Blaze News evidence has emerged recently that pointed toward law enforcement possibly being involved in the planning of the pipe bombs. A software algorithm that analyzes walking parameters, including flexion, hip extension, speed, step length, cadence, and variance, rated, and I'm going to skip her name since we now have serious reason to believe she did not do it, of Alexandria, Virginia.
Serious.
A 94% match to the bomb suspect shown on video from January 5th, 2021. Now, they name her. They go through how she broke her leg once, and that's why they think her gait is off, as they believe is true of the J6 pipe bomber. And yet, what we know now is that CBS News reporting, she has an alibi, guys. That this woman they named has an alibi showing herself on video with her puppies during exactly the time of the pipe bombs being planted.
It's so perfect.
I just feel bad for Megyn Kelly a little bit.
I'm pretty disappointed.
How many times do you have to have Lucy pull the football away before? I mean, she should know at this point that just because the FBI is saying something or CBS News is saying something, that it might not be true. Can I see the gait analysis of the person that they arrested?
Mm-hmm.
It better also be a 94 to 98% match.
Right.
Seems unlikely. One's a man, one's a woman.
This is disappointing because I like Megyn Kelly. I really like Megyn Kelly.
Take it easy.
As most men do. Yeah, when she just goes like, "Oh, I guess that's what the new narrative is." I was like, "Well," because you sent me that article. Because we did we did an episode on the CIA employee that matched the gait analysis before, and the article came out, and like I always ask like, well, who's telling us this information? And like, Kash Patel just did a press conference about it. Kash Patel, the guy that said we're gonna don't stop looking at these Epstein files. He gets pointed to the director of FBI. He goes, "We're gonna give you guys the full files." He gives us files, some social media influencers that parade around with these binders. There's nothing in them. He goes, "Was it just round one? There's going to be another round." And then but round two, you guys would be shocked because that's where all the dirt is. That doesn't come out. And then they go like, "Well, there are no files." Everyone gets in an uproar. They're like, "Okay, there are some more files. Like, we're going to give them to you guys." It's like, this is the guy. This is your credible source of information.
Right.
Like, just like, again, it's like we say this over and over, like, go back. What's the track history of this person, of this source of information? This is group A. This is that first group I was talking about. Like, why would I trust anything that you say?
Let's just look at the...
And dude, can it be, it's when things are so on the nose, it's just like, we had to come up with a name for it. It's like the Jussie Smollett syndrome.
Right.
Like, dude, you went too far. You went too far with the narrative.
Look,
like, you should have took out the MAGA hats and the noose.
Right.
Like, your story would have been believable. Like, this is not an 80s movie with a budget. You have like 80 grand.
Or hire some white guys to do it insteed of two Nigerian dudes.
The person that you're demonizing was at home playing with her goddamn puppy. It's like, okay, like, come on. And now you're defaming this esteemed, reliable, honest institution like the CIA. You're like,
right.
Okay.
Let's just does it pass the smell test that this person's alibi is a video from 5 years ago?
Playing with a puppy.
So, like, just the how is that enough to just say we're done looking at this person? The gait analysis, we're throwing that out the window because we have a video that couldn't possibly have been doctored, couldn't possibly have happened right before this person went and set the pipe bombs or right after the person went and set the pipe bombs. I mean, do we really know that this is authentic? Mm-hmm. Maybe we do. Maybe there's a way to tell that. But it seems to me like do you have any videos on your phone from 5 years ago? Can you scroll back in your phone 5 years to videos of you doing something on a specific
No one keeps
day?
the same phone for 5 years.
That's just, that makes me skeptical of this. And the other thing do you know the Twitter account Viva Fry?
Yes.
So he has a YouTube channel and he was showing some stuff that people looked in because this person said that she was at home playing video of her at home playing with her puppies, implying more than one dog. Mm-hmm. So some people went and looked through her social media. There's no posts of her having two dogs. It's all a single dog.
Second shooter. Second dog. Second dog. That's what I meant to say.
And there's like evidence that she adopted this dog as an adult. There's not evidence of her having puppies on her Facebook profile. I mean, it's not to say that it's a lie, but she posted pictures of her dog, but never of her cute, cuddly puppies, which I have a puppy right now. I can't stop myself from taking photos of it. I don't post any of them because I don't post anything, but still, like I have tons of photos. I have more photos of this fucking dog than I do of my kid.
Yeah.
So I would think that this person who is posting pictures of a dog, her own dog, would also have pictures of the puppies.
Yeah.
So thanks to Viva for, bringing that to my attention. But it just, like you said, it just seems a little too
on the nose.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And think about this. The same people, Jack Posobiec and the Raw Egg Nationalists and the Drinkin' Bros podcast and Megyn Kelly, it's always look at what these lefties are doing.
Yeah.
Right. So if the CIA were responsible for the pipe bombs, would that be the left or the right?
Are we having a deep state conversation?
It's neither, right?
Yes. No.
That's
why I brought this up. The deep state conversation is like, given that the deep state exists for you NPCs out there, they're not beholden. They're not elected. They have no term limits. You don't know who they are. It's this echelon of power above you people that like to follow pro wrestling of your team blue or team red is winning, every 2 to 4 years or whatever. It's like, they're like these clowns underneath us, these TV chuckleheads, that they roll out, your Ted Cruz's and your Donald Trumps and your Bernie Sanders and your Hillary Clintons, like they're going to be gone in like 2, 3, like we know what we're doing.
Exactly.
And I don't really give a flying fuck what letter is in front of their name.
I think we ought to, matter. Yeah, I agree. And I really think we should stop besmirching the name of professional wrestling by comparing it to politicians, because
that's a solid point.
It's really way more reputable organization than our federal government is.
Yes.
Okay, so the Charlie Kirk shooting. Mm-hmm. So if the federal government or Israel killed Charlie Kirk, which is definitely
please some country in the Middle East.
Yeah, thank you. Was that the right or the left? Neither. But no, we got to put it on this wacky lefty who had a trans boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Like that's who killed Charlie Kirk. It has to be that. Same thing with JFK. Like, no, it was this Marxist Lee Harvey Oswald, right? They have to. It's all a trick to get us to fight amongst ourselves, yes. Left versus right, instead of realizing who the true enemy is right here, which is our deep state.
Right.
And this cabal of power who are out there right now actively trying to destroy America, the one last bastion of freedom in the world. They have to destroy it so that they can take all of our shit and we will own nothing and like it.
Oh, dude,
you are near digital prisons.
You are paving the way for our next episode. This is all I've been thinking about all week.
Good. You know what I think about this? Maybe this will be like a good teaser for next week or for Sunday. They say you will own nothing and like it.
Mm-hmm.
And they really mean that. Like, you're gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're wrong.
Yes.
You will own nothing, but you will not like it.
No, when the phrase, okay, let's think about this too this week, is when the part of that phrase, they say you'll own nothing and you'll like it. It's fact check, partially true. You will own nothing.
Yes.
You will like it. Because you don't have a choice.
Right. They are not, I think that they really believe that they will be able to be the ones who finally do the global domination thing that was tried by the Nazis and it was tried by the Soviets.
And the Rothschilds and the Soviets.
Yeah, but the Rockefellers and Rothschilds never really like went very far with like dominating people the way like the Soviets did. The Soviets controlled.
Oh, you're talking about the centrally planned, like, so Mao Zedong and
those
Rouge.
Yes, those dictators controlled their population with an iron fist.
Yeah.
Right, but they couldn't hold on to it because the people did not like it.
Yeah.
Okay, they were supposed to like it. That was the same promise from communism. It's like everyone's going to be equal. Nobody's on a higher level than anyone else. We're not going to have any racism. Everything's just going to be perfect. And they implemented that, and it immediately started ruining people's days through things like starvation.
There's a reason the saying, the beatings will continue until the morale improves, is a thing that's still said today.
Yes.
That comes from something.
Right. And so I think that it's going to be painful to resist this totalitarianism that is coming. But people are not going to like it. They will own nothing at first, but they will not like it and they will not stand for it. And eventually it is going to be overturned. It might not be in our lifetime, but get ready because a world war and a pandemic and a fucking whatever weather event that they can conjure up out of directed energy weapons or whatever. This shit is all coming, and we are going to be suffering through this, I think. I don't mean to be like a downer, because I think at the end of the day, it has to happen for people to resist this. And, you know, the people who resisted the Romans in Jesus's time, including Jesus and his disciples, they all paid a severe price for believing in the greatest story ever told, believing in Jesus and learning about their true existence as children of God. They've suffered for that. It would have been much easier just to go along or to even pick up weapons and fight back, but they didn't do that. They suffered, and the reward for that was, you know, eternal peace. But also look at the way that Christianity swept the world. Like, it was true. It was the greatest truth that could never be destroyed. And so I think we're going to be going into a similar period of suffering, all of us, but it's for the good. You got to embrace it.